While Facebook's still facing scrutiny for the way it handles user data, now it's Google's privacy practices that have flown largely under the radar, but are getting a bit more attention lately. I'm sitting down with Seth Stevens Davidowitz, who I bet I was going to get his name right. Anyway, author of Everybody Lies, former Google data scientist. Thank you for your time.
Thanks so much for having me.
So we wanted to pick up on the fact that earnings aside, this gets more to the heart of their future earnings. Today, the Wall Street Journal, among many, are saying, look, everyone's talking about Facebook data practices. Google has as much, if not more, on you. And from your experience working there, is that true? And do you think they're going to face a user backlash now?
Well, I think Google does have more information than Facebook does. I don't know that it's a bad thing. I think it helps make the product better, but people are more honest to Google, so they tend to tell things to Google that they don't tell Facebook about what they're really thinking, their health conditions. So
well,
I think
whether they mean to or not, because they're typing that into the search box, right?
Exactly. So I think generally Google's data set is bigger, more powerful than Facebook's. I think people trust Google more than they trust Facebook. They've never really trusted Facebook, so they're more comfortable having data in Google's hands than in Facebook's hands.
But that can shift on a dime. I mean, all it takes is, look at the weird way that the election kind of threw Facebook into the middle of this argument. It could be something similarly out of the blue that then puts Google in the middle of things, right?
You actually see after Edward Snowden's revelations, there was a change in user behavior. Even if they didn't say it, people became much more wary to make certain searches on Google. So that really hurt Google. And yeah, if users freak out about what Google knows about them, it would be really, really bad for Google.
And Google is an advertising-driven model, just like we talk about Facebook, and that's why there's so much focus on whether that can hold up. So to take the YouTube issue as an example, advertisers have already, I don't know so much about users, but on the advertising side of things, they're realizing we don't want our videos to be a pre-roll before a terrorism ad or some equally horrific thing that's out there on the internet. So they could face pressure from both sides, from the advertisers and from users, right?
Yeah, I think it would take a lot for advertisers to change it. I think they're pretty happy with the product that Google's giving them. But if there was a big outcry, that could change behavior, maybe, advertiser behavior. I think I'd be more nervous about user behavior. If users think twice before using a site, that can be really, really damaging.
Is it that someone's going to come out there and say, hey, I have a new Google, if you want to do a search box without anybody tracking you, you can use my tools? Is that
well,
likely,
they already exist. DuckDuckGo, for example,
that's been around for years.
It's been around forever. But I think behaviors do change. Like I said, after Snowden's revelation, there was a change in behavior. So sometimes you don't see it in a big public outcry, but you do see subtle changes in people's behaviors.
Google
that would
Maps,
be the concern.
Google Mail. I mean, they have some of the most popular apps that exist.
Look, I'm pro Google. I'm just telling you what the risks are. I think, in general, one of the reasons Google has flown under the radar is because people really do value the products even more so than Facebook. They trust. They are happy with Google keeping their information if it's going to suggest where they might want to go. If it's going to suggest their home when they type it in Google Maps and finish it before they even put it, they're like, oh, that's a good service.
Yeah.
So I think in general, Google's services seem so valuable to people that they're willing to
Look, it is
give
a
it a free
pain.
pass.
You're trying to type it in and then you get the number wrong and then the next word and then you have to delete it and you're like, want to throw the phone out.
Yeah, I think if there was a service that didn't have that, I think it would be tough to compete with Google Maps.
Seth, thanks for your insights. Good to talk to you today. Seth Stevens Davidowitz.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.